Hi, this is Optimus Primal, and this is Silverbolt's Transformer Review.
Afternoon everybody, Silverbolt here, back for a Transformers review, going to be doing, as per the title page, Generation 1, Targetmaster, Misfire. I have an annoying habit of calling Misfire aimless, so bear with me. Now, Misfire has a very accurate name. He's an absolutely terrible shot. He's very much guilty of, do I drop in the innuendo? This is me. Of course I'm going to drop in the innuendo. Misfire is always guilty of discharging his weapon prematurely. He's a terrible shot. He couldn't hit the inside of a barn, or from the inside. So, he was going to be booted out of the Decepticon Academy. There's an academy on how to be a Decepticon. Well, the Autobots have one, so why not? He was going to be booted out of the academy, but he didn't. He actually graduates. For one reason, that the Autobots actually blew it up. The academy, not Misfire. So, yes, Misfire is a Decepticon. They don't really want him, but he is a Decepticon, and he is on their team. Now, Misfire, with no explanation, no backstory, nothing, shows up in Transformers: The Rebirth of the '86 series, the '80s series, which would have been the start of Transformers Series 4. Of course, it got pulled, unfortunately, because, as most people are aware, I'm a big fan of the Rebirth storyline. So, anyway, he is just one of the several new Decepticons that just happen to be attacking Autobot City with no sign of Metroplex, and engage in that great big battle at the start of the Rebirth, which is just epic. And well, it starts from there, and he follows through the Rebirth cartoon, showing up at various points and not really doing an awful lot. By virtue of just standing in a random position, Misfire ends up going to Nebulos under the command of Cyclonus and Scourge. Namely, he goes along because Galvatron, who's not very impressed with the fact that Scourge has screwed up, sends them all to keep an eye on him. So, there we go. So, Misfire ends up going to Nebulos, where after getting trounced by the Autobot headmasters, he ends up becoming binary bonded through, I suppose you could say duress. Yeah, duress is a pretty good word to decide, with his partner, Aimless. Now, Aimless is a very good partner for Misfire, for the simple fact is that Aimless also can't hit the inside of a barn from the inside. So, you have a guy that can't hit anything, partnered with a gun that can't hit anything, and in the cartoon, to make matters worse, Misfire doesn't have a pistol grip, or a carbine grip, or any kind of grip with which to fire the gun. So, you see Aimless in Misfire's hands on two separate occasions, I believe. The first occasion is when he first becomes Aimless, and he transforms him out of there, and Misfire just catches him. Kind of like the way you'd catch a football. But there we go. The second time we see him, he just seems to be standing on a hill with Misfire, holding Misfire like this, going, can't you hit anything, Aimless? Well, no, because you keep moving me around! So there we go. So it's really not a surprise that Aimless can't hit anything, and neither can Misfire, because Misfire's a bad shot, and Aimless can't be... Well, I mean, how do you line up a sight with a gun you've got to hold like this? You know, it's like trying to shoot an Xbox. It's not going to work. So there we go. Thankfully, in vehicle mode, they don't have that problem because he just clamps onto the top of him, and luckily, the toy does come with a grip to hold in his hands, because for those of you who've seen the Power Core combiners, when they've got to hold their hand like that, and then the Minicon Targetmaster, you know, that really good idea that Hasbro made a real mess of, just clamps into the side of the hand, and he's just there like that. Yeah. It would have looked stupid back then. It still looks stupid today. Not that I don't like the Power Core combiners. So anyway, that's it for the Rebirth. Unfortunately, the cartoon series never continued on past Rebirth Part 3. To my mind, still a huge pity. But there we go, times have gone. Let's move on. Guess what? Prime's going to have flames in the new movie. Oh well, what a shame. But anyway, I lost my train of thought now. That was it. That's it for the Transformers continuity for the American cartoons. The Japanese, of course, carried it on with Misfire showing up with Slugslinger and... Misfire, Slugslinger and... Trigger Happy, thank you. I've had to actually redo this video because the other time I couldn't remember the other Autobots, and now I can't remember the Decepticons. Oh, head's going all over the place at the moment. But anyway, yes, when the great Autobot heroes, who were the three new target masters that weren't in Series 2 of the American cartoon, which is namely Crosshairs, Point Blank, and Spoilsport? Yes, Spoilsport. Or is it Sure Shot? No. The orange and yellow Dune Buggy and his red gun. That's going to bug me now, which one's which. Anyway, those three show up, and not long after that, Misfire, Slugslinger, and Trigger Happy show up, and they continue their battle. And in the midst of their battle, there's robots coming from the planet Master. Now, in the Japanese continuity, the Masters are much, much smaller versions of the robot bodies themselves. And during which there is a big explosion, and afterwards it turns out that the guns are now clamped to the individual Transformers' hands. Now there is a very, very good explanation as to why this happens, and it just fits with the storyline so well. The only explanation that ever really makes sense in regards to how an explosion causes man-sized Transformers to become guns that then latch onto people's wrists is quite elegant in its simplicity. It's a Japanese cartoon. But you don't need any other explanation as to why it makes no sense whatsoever, because it's the fact it's a Japanese cartoon, that makes perfect sense. We don't need any other explanation. So, because it's a Japanese cartoon, the guns are now connected to Misfire. Whether Misfire is still a terrible shot in the Japanese continuity and Aimless is an even worse shot in the Japanese continuity, we don't know, because they don't really do an awful lot in the Headmaster's cartoon. Misfire in the Marvel continuity storylines does appear, and it's in the storyline of On the Edge of Extinction, which is the Simon Furman story basis of Unicron attacking Cybertron. Now, when the Unicron is attacking Cybertron, Scorponok and Optima and Power Master Optimus Prime have, rallied everybody together. Everybody's fighting Unicron. On the Edge of Extinction, a turret tower that's been manned by Finback gets blown up. Misfire is caught in the explosion, and we don't see him after that, so he could be dead, he might not be dead, but who knows. I mean, in all fairness, wasn't it Brainstorm that gets stuck on his fingernail? There we go. Anyway, that's pretty much all that Misfire does, thankfully. On to the toy. Now, the first thing you'll notice about this toy, obviously, is that it's pink. But we're not going to go into the colour. It's pink. And it's neon pink. Even I don't wear neon pink. Which, no doubt, Philly is extraordinarily happy for. That I don't wear neon. In fact, I can't think of a single person that I know who's not like a cybergoth or something that wears neon pink. So, even in the 80s, well, mind you, I wasn't going clubbing in the 80s, and if I was, my parents were very bad indeed. Seeing as, I ranged from the ages of 1 to 10. But there we go. This isn't an American pop video where 13-year-olds have convertibles. No, this is real life. And I never go clubbing on a Friday. No, I always go clubbing on a Friday. Oh, crap. Anyway, but there we go. And if you don't get the references, you need to, type in Friday into YouTube, see what comes up. Now, Misfire does really beg the question. Is it a car? Is it a plane? Is it a boat? The fact that it flies means we assume it's a plane. It does bear a certain resemblance to a certain GoBot, but we won't go into that one at all. We do assume it's a plane, and it's quite a nifty looking alt mode. It's got a really sci-fi uber cool element to it, and it's a really, really nice alt mode. And Misfire it has to be said, is regarded by most collectors as the best of the target masters, because unlike most target masters and headmasters and anything released past the initial Microman ranges, isn't a brick. Transforming him is, like all, the last generation toys, the last of the toys that released in the 80s, absurdly simple. Fold the legs back, snap the rockets into where the knees would be, flip the feet up. How many videos have I got where I've said flip the feet up? But anyway, fold the arms back, pull the cockpit back, and then pull the hands out. And here we have Misfire in robot mode. And he has got quite a nice robot mode, as he, as I said, isn't a brick. He has movement in his elbows and in his shoulders. Head does not move, but he has movements in his hips, and admittedly, it's a very badly done knee joint, but he does have movements in his knees. So there we go. And he is a lovely, lovely toy because of it. Though, even in the 80s, I don't think green eyes and a pink face worked. I don't care what drugs you were taking. Pink face and green eyes do not mix. Ever. Okay. Onto his Target Master Companion. Now, if Misfire is one of the nicest of the Generation 1 Target Master toys, then I have to say I'm sorry, but Misfire is one of the blooming ugliest. He's short, he's squat, he's stubby, he's far too wide, he's badly proportioned, and he just looks hideous. That being said, he is a Target Master, and to my mind, they are just awesome. But he's not aesthetically the most pleasing. When you compare him to the likes of Caliburst, he really, really isn't that nice. And unfortunately, he does have a major, major flaw in their design, and it is it's one of the reasons why Misfire, Slugslinger, and Caliburst are so expensive to get. Not just because they weren't released, despite the fact that Scourge is redonkulously expensive as a Target Master to buy, but these guys are recent, and it's because the guns break. Now, if you look there, you can see the blue bit and the grey bit where they meet. There's a little hinge. Well, the grey bit kind of goes round the blue bit. Yeah, I will use the word hinge mainly because I don't kind of know what kind of joint this actually is called. And what it does is it's supposed to just pop over. Now, I don't know if you can hear that, but it goes over. That's the sound of plastic being stressed. And it does become very stressed. I am very, very cautious about transferring this, and it's a common fault on the other Decepticon target, Slugslinger and Trigger Happy's Target Master companions, is that the pins are very, very... The grey bits that clip onto the blue pin become very stressed and snap. That has happened on one of my other toys. Now, luckily, it can still actually stand in robot mode, and it can still be displayed in gun mode. But one of them is they actually are in two separate pieces, and that is not me. That was actually how they came. Right, there you go. I'm trying to push this back into robot mode, and you can see it trying to pull itself out. It's very, very tricky, and I'm actually loath to transform it. In fact, I don't usually transform the Target Masters for that precise reason, because they are so tough to... I just have a vision of me doing a Masterpiece Megatron and snapping and going... But there we go. And in all fairness, I'd be much more annoyed if I broke one of these guys, because they are not cheap. The Target Masters and the Headmaster lines are really not cheap. Now, these guys, the bodies, they're cheap. You'll pick up a Junker for £5 off eBay. Or, well, no, in all fairness, my Chrome Dome, I got a Junker Chrome Dome for one of the third-party Headmaster kits. I bought a Junker Chrome Dome. I think it cost me like £3. So, but with these guys, on their own, or with them, their price goes through the roof. They are so expensive. However, to my mind, they're well worth it, which is why I have all of the Target Masters now. I have all the Autobot ones, well, all the Generation 1 Autobot ones, and the other ones I'm missing is Cyclonus and Scourge, and they are the most expensive of all of them. Right, not a lot more I can say on these toys, on Misfire as a character, Aimless as a character, or the toys of either that I haven't already said. So, for now, I'm going to sign off, and so this is Silverbolt with Misfire and Aimless, signing off, saying au revoir, adios, auf Wiedersehen, and I'll see you in about 3 months.